The results are in, and Donald Trump is once again the president of the United States. But
Emphasis on the word peacefully.
happy. Kamala Harris's supporters have taken to social media in droves, crying, screaming, and throwing tantrums because the election didn't go the way they wanted. This woman couldn't even muster words and just screamed during her meltdown.
I feel like that's fake. I feel like that's fake.
And this woman took her meltdown to a whole new level.
This one's real.
Violently screaming in her car.
This one's real.
I'm sorry. No! Why?
The thing is, again, I think these elections honestly impact. There's more. I don't know how to describe it. I think it's okay. I'm not gonna say I think it's funny. I do think it's odd that majority of the issues that we talk about are just women's issues, and we don't really talk about like men's issues in any election. Like I don't know. It's almost like we just don't have any. There's nothing to talk about. I feel like men have problems within the abortion conversation, not so much the abortion itself, but like the legal rights the dad has to a kid before it's born is basically zero. You know what I mean? Like there's issues within that space that men have, but none of it ever gets talked about. None of it. And I just don't think it's because it doesn't draw the same attention, conversation, like heated debates and division that just like women's reproductive rights does, which is equally as important of an issue. It just hits way harder. So it's talked about so much more because the more you talk about it, the more and more divided everybody gets, right? So I think this election, honestly, you're seeing a lot of women who are either super happy or super bummed. I think there's a lot of men who it doesn't impact them like as much as like an individual. I don't know how to describe what I'm saying. Does that make sense? I don't know if I can like if anybody can like word that better for me. But I just feel like you're seeing a lot more out of women on this election. When it comes to the abortion side of things, I honestly feel like men should have a little bit more right than they do coming from someone that wanted multiple kids. Me and my wife were barely blessed with one because of certain circumstances and also having multiple miscarriages. Trying to have a kid for people just to take that for granted, honestly, it pisses me off. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, there's ways that men should have a discussion, and there's ways that, like, throughout that process, the rights that men have can definitely be better. And again, this is coming from somebody who's like, I don't think the government, religion aside or not, should really have any say about what you do with your body. At all. I don't think that's like, again, the government is supposed to be completely secular. Like religion's not supposed to be involved. So when you take out religion, it's like the power should be with the states where it's at, right? It should be with the states where it's at. I think that's a really healthy spot for it to be. I think it's a shame that some states are like completely like banning abortion altogether, like 100%. I'm like, I don't necessarily agree with that. That's not it. But anyways.
Do you really hate me that bad?
And this woman went through a range of emotions throughout her meltdown.
What is wrong with you? I can't do this anymore. I'm literally sick. I'm literally sick to my stomach. What has happened to America? What has happened to democracy? What has happened to freedom?
I also think that's a really weird thing to say, that like democracy somehow just ended. I think that's weird, and that's such an extreme. It is so extreme. It's such a like, I feel like it's such a cop-out thing to say. You know, I feel like both sides just have these like certain regurgitated responses to things, and like, oh, I've been told that I can just say this when I'm angry, and that when I have nothing else to say, and it'll shut you up, you're a racist. And you're like, what the fuck? How did we get here? Like, how am I racist? What the hell? Like, what?
I'm done. This is a message to anyone who...
And again, the freedom thing. I think people need to travel more. I think people need to go to third world countries more. I think people need to go to countries that don't necessarily align with the U.S. and talk to people, okay? I think everyone should have to join the military at some point, because I think it would give you an appreciation of, hey, this is what the world actually is like, okay? All of your little things that you're fighting for on the side, by all means, fight for them. But in the grand scheme of things, they won't mean fuck all if we're being bombed, okay? That's just how it is.
Follows me. If you voted for Trump, unfollow me and block me. If you didn't vote, unfollow me and block me. The fact that it's this close means I've lost.
Here's the issue with that statement. I'm pausing a lot. We just went over this, okay? We're at like 155 million votes in the 2020 election, almost 81 million, or on the way to 82 million for the Democrats. And then in the 2024 election, they lost like 13 million votes. So it's like, if you're pissed off at people not voting, you're pissed off at your own people. Like, I don't think they understand that when they're like, oh, if you didn't vote, delete me, or blah, 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 blah. And it's like, you're mad at your own people. Y'all's own people didn't show up. The 15 extra million people that showed up in 2020 out of nowhere choose not to show up in 2024. So y'all took the L on your own. At some point, people should definitely travel and see how bad it is in other countries. These are all first world problems in a third world country. We're running water, power, sewer. Like, we have a lot of things that some countries still don't have. Yeah. I think people underestimate how many countries actually operate under like a first world infrastructure, or overestimate. I think they think that a majority of the world is like pretty on par with where we're at. And it's like, I think you need a wake up call. That's sad, because if we can do it, they can do it, but they know they don't. We could be way worse off than we are. We could definitely be way worse off. I think we could be a million times worse off than we just were over the last 4 years. Shit was expensive, and I disagree with like all the wars that are happening, right? They're fucking terrible, and I think that we could spend trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars on much better issues. Okay? I still went to work every day. I still paid my bills every day. I still had extra money to go play around. Okay? I've considered myself blessed. I do. You know, I wish I made more, wish I had more free time, but in the grand scheme of things, my life hasn't been fucking terrible over the last 4 years. It just hasn't.
All hope in the American people. Like, it should not be this close. Why would anyone vote for this person? He's so evil. He's so demented. Kamala's not perfect. We all know that.
That's good.
We all know that. She is not a convicted felon, rapist, crazy fascist, dictator, psycho.
This man, dressed in only a rainbow...
My stance is, I think all politicians are felons. Some of them have been caught, and majority of them haven't. They're all felons, though.
Scarf and beanie couldn't quite comprehend the fact that people could vote for Trump.
What the hell? You cannot be serious. How did I wake up to this garbage as my president? That's right, garbage.
They look like paid actors. They look like paid actors from like a budget film. Like, they don't seem real or believable. I just don't get it. It doesn't seem real.
She was ahead. I woke up to this freaking nightmare.
I don't think she was ever ahead.
Donald Trump? How? Does America have this many Nazi, Hitler following pieces of trash?
Again, I think using the term Nazi is an incredible disservice to what actually happened and what the Nazis actually did. I think it minimizes something that actually happened, and that's very, very real, and that was easily the worst event to ever happen to humanity ever. And you're saying that our country is operating like that currently, which is crazy. Crazy thing to say. Because I also think that if you're going to make a comparison as to who is going, if you had to make a comparison, okay, and if you look at like how Hitler and the Nazis convinced of all their people that like, hey, this is the right thing to do, it was censorship, controlling the media, controlling speech, and it's like, I'll let you decide which side of the political spectrum is doing that more often, okay? I'm just gonna that's all I'm gonna say, okay? I think people need to educate themselves on the immense time and like just brainwashing it took to do that to a country. Just think about, like, research it. There's way too many books and shows and movies on Netflix, YouTube, the internet to just make that comparison and sound like you know what you're talking about. It's the craziest thing in the world.
I thought America was already great. Kamala had our economy skyrocketing. People were happy. You could feel the joy in her campaign, and then all of a sudden it's just been hijacked by these.
This feels fake. This feels staged.
Trump supporters.
This feels
Nobody wants
staged.
to live in a country full of hate. It's all hate, 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 hate. Trump hates everybody that's not white. And I can't believe people of color actually voted for him. How does that happen? What does he pay them? I'll give you some money if you vote against your own people. Who does that?
I don't think this person understands how low-key racist what they just said sounds, and it is. I'll shut up.
Not gonna end well at all. It is not gonna end well.
And this woman is convinced the whole thing is a prank.
Why wear a scarf but no shirt?
Prank, right? Like we're just gonna wake up tomorrow morning and everything's gonna go back to the way it'll be a psych. It'll be like a really bad dream, and none of this will have ever happened, right? Like it'll be like the first time, and then we're all gonna pull through fine in 4 years. Correct? Please, someone tell me. I can tell you one thing right now: marriage is the farthest thing from on the table currently. So they screwed the pooch on that one if they thought that any of this was gonna actually help with the whole family and kids department and lowering birth rates, because that, not even any semblance of thoughts I had or hope for that is completely gonna be a no thanks for me.
This is the part where, like, I'm not educated on either side's policies enough to really, like, understand. I can say that I disagree just because, like, I think things are going to be a lot cheaper and it's going to be more affordable to have children for a lot of people. I think Trump doing a lot of things to be really pro-choice in schools, or like I don't know how to word that right, but he wants people to have more more options to choose which school they go to, I think, essentially. I think there's a lot of positives. Probably on both sides there's positives to, like, kids growing up better or whatever. But I can tell you probably, like, the number one factor of, like, having kids or not having kids is just being able to financially support one. And obviously, like, if we make more money and spend less money and have more money left over, you have that burden somewhat lifted. Whether it's enough to have children is based upon your, like, personal or individual standpoint with life. But
Me love. You think I would ever even dare bring a child into this country now?
that is a
It
fair
was rough
point.
before.
I know more people living with their parents longer and, like, having to move back in because they can't afford their bills now than I ever have. Like, you have married couples living with their parents because they can't afford all their shit. They just can't do it. That's a really good observation. 100%.
Before. Now? No. That's cute. And the men, don't even get me started about dating. To think I was still entertaining a few moderates here and there sometimes. No, honey, no. Not even close. That's never goodbye.
And this is another woman who denied reality to cope.
Guys, we literally don't even have to panic. We literally don't have to freak out right now. We don't even have to we don't have to freak out. We don't have to freak out because it's not even real. Because
recount the vote.
This streamer was
That's like actual delusion of like, it's not real. I'm just gonna close my eyes for the next 4 years because it's not happening. It's like, it's so funny, dude.
so angry he ripped his shirt off.
I can't believe Trump's actually gonna win this thing. Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm so pissed off.
Well, this guy's a piece of shit. This is a,
God damn it.
I'm pretty sure this is a terrible person to have, I can't remember his name, but I know he's been caught up in scamming more of his viewer base and his subscribers out of money, faking medical issues than like anyone. It's more than once. It's like 2 or 3 times that person was caught faking medical issues and milking their viewers for money, lying. I think the most recent one is he got called out for faking cancer, and asking for all these donations to help with his treatments and stuff. So I don't think that's a real good person to have on your side. If that's not him, then he has a
And
fucking
this
twin
woman
somewhere.
went completely mad, shaving her head whilst talking about how much she hates men.
Just woke up this morning feeling spicy. You guys feel spicy? Because I do. All right. I don't know how to use this thing. Let's see what happens. Is this cutting off hair? I'm going to have to cut it shorter than that. Does it down, right? I think that
Can
this
she
is
not
too
even use hair trimmers?
skinny hair. Let's see here. Maybe I gotta cut it. Here we go. Have I given up on America? Have. Also given up on coloring this hair because, right? Coloring my hair, having my hair be long and luxurious, all that being skinny, being hot, and all the things that the patriarchy wants us to be. Because clearly they don't give a about us. And I'm talking to you too.
This woman took to the streets.
I think for one of the biggest arguments for like women are constantly being held back. Okay, this is more about like the gender pay gap thing than anything. To me, one of the most like arguments is like if women were actually being paid less to do the same amount of work at the same quality, every fucking white male business person would be hiring women out the ass. You're telling me I can run my business for 25% less and get the same quality and everything out of it? Why that they would do that in a heartbeat? And to me, it's like that's really the only nail in the coffin like thing for me is like, well, if what you're saying is true, wouldn't it make sense that like they would just hire women? There's other factors. There's other variables. There's other things that need to be taken into account. I also think that like I think women are the worst at supporting women. The WNBA, perfect example. Everyone wants the WNBA and women basketball people to make more money, get paid more, paid as much as the male NBA people. And by the way, I hate basketball. I think it's a dumb sport. And I don't think any athlete should make as much as athletes are making. But the stands are empty. If you want them to make more money, then you need to go spend money on tickets and support your local women's national basketball team. Because that's the only way they're going to get pay increases if you're buying their jerseys, you're buying tickets, you're buying season tickets, VIP tickets, buying drinks, everything. If you're making the stadium and the team money, they will pay their athletes more. But nobody wants to do it. Nobody will do it. Like, go do it. You can do it.
Streets to let out her frustration.
Oh, I've been waiting for this. Oh boy, I've been waiting for this.
Hilarious.